right.
Yo.
Coming to you live from Philly. It's the number one rated Paulie and Tony Fusco Show.
Yo.
As always, Paulie Fusco here with Tony Fusco and Tony.
Yo.
Huge show today.
Let's go.
We're going to bring you up to speed on all the late breaking news about, the Cowboys and the Browns, which, will have virtually no impact on anything, but, still do it.
Of course.
And every year, Tony, people coming up to us asking for our fantasy advice at this time of year, of course, because we've won our pool for 27 consecutive years, In fact, many people credit us, with inventing fantasy football.
That's true.
And by the way, you're all aware that this month we launched All Guest, where the idea, was to have a guest every week this month. And due to our producer over there, completely useless, has not booked a guest all month. You want to explain yourself?
Because everybody said no.
Everybody said no is how I would describe your sex life.
Oh, there you go. Got him.
Up.
Anyway, lucky for you, loser. Some guy named Pete at this new company, Fantasy Life, that Matthew Berry started. Well, he reached out to us because this guy clearly does his job, unlike you. Yeah. And, he came to us because he knows we got that huge audience, millions of people. And he asked if we could do him and, Matthew a solid by having this so-called number one fantasy expert on the show. Okay, well, his name is Matthew Freedman. And according to his Twitter bio, he claims he is the number one NFL mock drafter since 2020.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Exactly, according to him, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, by the way, some very smart people out there, got to commend you, did actually rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts.
Good for you.
But there were only a handful, which means, we still got millions of you out there who are just, sitting on your asses doing nothing. Yeah. So here's what you're going to do right now, all right? You're going to hit pause on this show, okay?
Yeah.
You're going to leave the review, then you're going to come back, and you're also going to comment and subscribe on YouTube. So go ahead and hit pause now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. All right.
Yeah.
Good job doing that.
Yeah, good
Glad
job.
you took the time.
Yep.
All right, no more pauses, Tony. Let's get right into our top story.
Top story.
All right, first out the gate, rough news for Shedeur Sanders as he was named the Browns' third-string QB behind Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel. And, well, Tony, this just has to be a shot to the rookie's confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I know Shedeur was hoping to start week 1, but now it looks like he'll have to wait until week 3 or 4 after Joe Flacco gets injured and Dylan Gabriel gets benched because, nobody has any interest in seeing him play quarterback.
Yep.
Those few weeks are going to be a hard, long wait for Shedeur, but it'll be a good test of patience. Besides, Shedeur is all but guaranteed to start week 1 next season. Not for the Browns, but for the Jets.
Just terrific analysis there, Tony. And
Thank
we got some big breaking news. Hit that sounder.
Breaking news.
Tony, this just in. The Dallas Cowboys have traded Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers.
Wow.
Your instant reaction, Tony.
Honestly, I was afraid this was going to happen. My sources told me the other day that Jerry Jones is so old and his hearing has gotten so bad, he thought Micah Parsons said, call a trade to the Packers. But what Micah actually said was, call a trainer, my back hurts. Just a total misunderstanding.
Wow, just a total misunderstanding. And Tony, now suddenly a lot of the recent Cowboy moves are making a lot more sense, know?
Absolutely.
All right, well, there's that breaking news.
Breaking news.
Now to some other trade news. The Browns have traded former Eagles quarterback Kenny Pickett to the Raiders. And, the Raiders, you got to say, Tony, are now the favorites in that division because, Pickett's won a Super Bowl more recently than Mahomes.
That's right.
In fact, put up that stat. Look at this. This is most Super Bowl wins since 2024. Pickett and Hurts tied for first.
There you
and
go.
Mahomes, goose egg, along with the other QBs in that division, Bo Nix and Justin Herbert. And, well, stats don't lie, do they, Tony?
No. And what's the most important skill for a quarterback?
Ball control.
Exactly. And Kenny Pickett demonstrated such impressive ball control under pressure in the Super Bowl, holding the ball so perfectly in those clutch kneel downs, which sealed the win for the Eagles. When people say he didn't win the Super Bowl and shouldn't get the win, well, who was the QB on the field when the Eagles took the winning snap? Kenny Pickett. Exactly. There you go. Case closed.
Case closed.
That's
and,
it.
Talking about news, Tony. A story we absolutely refuse to talk about, okay? This Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift engagement, which is big news if you're a woman.
Yeah.
But if you tuned into this show, hoping for a reaction, well, you can tune away.
Yeah,
okay?
why don't you go watch Oprah or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Although, Tony, I will say, I do think this showed they kind of lost their sense of priorities. I mean, what's the most important thing in this business? Ratings. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People say they should have gotten engaged on the podcast. No, that's a small audience.
Yeah.
What they clearly should have done is you do it in the end zone. That's when you do the proposal, right after a TD. That way you're on national TV during, the afternoon, Sundays. You get that big ratings bump,
Exactly. And also, the other thing, you save money because you don't have to pay for a photographer or a videographer or even catering because, they already got those people there.
Exactly. They're already there in the stadium.
Yeah.
A great point, Tony. But again, we're not, that's the last we're going to talk about this.
That's
no more.
it. No more. But, I do have one thing more to say.
Oh.
I think it was a terrible career move for Taylor Swift. All her big hits are breakup songs. So if she's married, that could hurt her pain-induced creative spark. I'm only kind of familiar with her catalog. And, there's Cruel Summer, as someone once told me, and All Too Well. Again, so I've heard. Also, Blank Space, I Knew You Were Trouble, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. Again, so I've been told. I'm not that familiar.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar either, so I can't comment on that. Although I must say, I do think we should mention Is It Over Now, which I've also heard has drawn comparisons to her 2014 single Out of the Woods due to its similar themes about escaping toxic relationships. Again, so I've heard. Don't quote me on this.
Me too.
And again, we don't want to waste time discussing this at all. Just useless.
We're not getting into it. This is a sports show.
Yeah, sports show, exactly. Besides, we got more breaking news coming across the wire. This just in from Pro Football Talk. The Raiders have cut 6th round pick Tommy Mellott. Tony, what impact do you see this having?
This is the first time I've ever heard of this person, but I will say this is both good and bad news. Getting cut from an NFL team is bad news, but getting cut from the Raiders, that's great news. Just thinking off the top of my head here, it's a little like being circumcised. It's a cut and it hurts initially, but in the long run, it's a good thing. And you don't have to spend so much time cleaning your penis.
So true. Just such great football and also anatomical analysis that Tony there's that sound. You know what that means. It's time to get out your Fusco Bet apps because Tony's about to give his Week 1 lock pick. Tony, what you got NFL Week 1?
This is my 100% lock pick for Week 1, Cowboys, Eagles. What do we always say in the NFL? You're only as good as your last game. That's right. And in the Eagles' last game, they crushed the Chiefs 40-22. Although really it was 40-6 if you don't count all those garbage time crap points the Chiefs scored. Meanwhile, in the Cowboys' last game, they lost to Washington's backup squad 23-19. So when I ran that through my computer, it predicted the final score of Thursday night's game to be Eagles 132, Cowboys -3. Book it.
Download the Fusco Bet app now. Note, Fusco Bet is not legal in any of the 50 states and can only be used in Eastern Aruba. Users must have Aruban citizenship and must pay 98% of all winnings to the Aruban government or be sentenced to 10 years in a maximum security prison. Fusco Bet.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Tony, people, they're hungry for our fantasy advice, and, we're going to do a solid for this new Fantasy Life company and bring on the so-called expert, and we'll do this right after a message from our sponsor. The other day, Tony and I, we had a great idea, didn't we, Tony?
Yup. Genius.
You know how Fresh Clean Threads has black shirts and blue shirts and white shirts? Well, we thought, why don't they have green shirts, Philly football green.
Genius.
Well, look at what just came in the mail, Tony. There you go.
Wow. Looking good,
Check
Paulie.
it out. All because of us. This new green shirt, so comfortable,
Looks
so
amazing.
breathable. Available
Yup.
now at freshcleanthreads.com.
Hold on.
What? Now you're interrupting sponsor reads? What?
You just cost us millions, bro.
Fresh Clean Threads has always had green shirts. I'm wearing one right now. It wasn't because of you. And besides, that's the most obvious idea ever.
Oh, well, here's an idea. Shut up.
Yeah, you're going to be fresh, clean, out of a job.
Yeah, don't listen to that fool. Go get the brand new limited edition green shirt now available at freshcleanthreads.com and never before. And go get the other shirts too, black, blue, whatever color. And remember, enter the promo code Fusco15 for 15% off your entire order. Right, Tony?
Yeah, 15%. Just like our producer has 15% of a working brain.
There you go. Helps you remember. Anyway, go to freshcleanthreads.com now. Fusco15's the promo code. Enter it now.
Yeah.
Fusco Satellite Network.
All right, this guy. Well, according to his Twitter bio, he's the, quote, #1 NFL mock drafter since 2020 and a 6-time top 20 fantasy football ranker. Now, I don't know who keeps track of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's certainly not us. So
No.
we are not wasting our time fact-checking that. He's now with his new platform called Fantasy Life, started by Matthew Berry. They wanted to promote it, so they came to us, our huge audience.
Of course.
His name's Matthew Freedman, and as you can see for our viewers here, he's wearing a Cowboys hat. So
Yeah.
how can you be an expert at football while looking like a doofus like that?
I mean, look, I was born and raised in Texas. It would be bandwagon of me to jump off at this point. You know what I mean? So you stick with your team, you're loyal, and you just accept the years of pain.
That's what the people on the Titanic said. They said, we need to stay on this too.
Yeah, we're loyal to this ship.
We're loyal to the boat.
Yeah.
Let's get to hear what we're going to talk about here. Of course, it's fantasy season. People come to us for advice.
Yeah.
You're this expert, we're led to believe. Who is, when you look at all the players, who's your first overall pick?
I mean, Jamar Chase is awesome. Obviously, he had the Triple Crown in receiving last year.
Oh.
But I think Christian McCaffrey is an underappreciated.
Hold on. You're starting off all wrong.
First of all, number one. I wouldn't take him number one.
Everything you said so far is
he's
awful.
projected number one.
Okay, he's still talking, Tony. He doesn't understand how the show works. Okay, first of all, #1 pick is Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
You
Maybe
understand
heard of him?
why, right?
Super Bowl MVP.
Do you know how to build a team? It's called roster building.
Yeah.
Yeah, in NFL, absolutely, you would want Jalen Hurts as your quarterback. In fantasy, you would also want him, but you don't have to draft him #1 overall because in most leagues he will go in the 3rd or 4th round.
Not in our league. Not in our league. He went very quickly in our league.
#1.
In fact, Tony and I, we share a team because we agree on everything. Let's just take a look. We want to show you this was our roster that we drafted in order. It's #1, Jalen Hurts, 2, Saquon Barkley, 3rd, the Eagles defense, because it's basically like having an offense. They
score.
Then kicker Jake Elliott, 4th round. 5th pick A.J. Brown. 6th pick Devonta Smith. Then Dallas Goedert, and then A.J. Dillon. Your thoughts on this? Isn't this a perfectly
why are you
constructed
mixing
roster?
different guys from different teams?
It makes no sense. Why not just the team has already been created by Howie Roseman? Why don't you just go with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? You're making a lot of sense. I'd say, unfortunately, you can't draft all Eagles because you might be in a league with other people and they also might draft some of the Eagles. So then you might need to diversify a little bit.
No.
How many Cowboys are on your fantasy team?
Yeah.
0. I don't want any Cowboys this year.
Okay, good.
I now see why the Twitter bio is starting to make some sense here, Tony. This guy, He's
Avoid
got a brain on
Cowboys
him.
at all costs.
You're doing well so far. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, a lot of people, they like to hear about sleeper picks. Okay.
Yeah.
Who do you have? Who's your sleeper at running back?
I mean, sleeper at running back, and again, I hate to talk about another NFC East team, but Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt as the 7th round rookie for the Washington Commanders.
That's not a sleeper. Hold on. Everybody knows him.
Yeah.
I mean, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is still a guy who's a 7th round rookie who most people really don't know about. The diehards know about him, but a lot of people don't know about him.
How do you spell his name again? I just want to make sure we're talking about the same guy.
I just want to make 100%.
Jacory.
Yeah, I knew that. Of course, played college football for the Alabama State Hornets and the New Mexico Lobos. I mean, everybody knows that guy.
Everybody knows.
Come on.
Sleeper.
Come on, Matthew.
Come on,
if you're going to give sleepers, you got to go more off the map. All right, that was a little of a misstep for you. Let's try sleeper at, give me wide receiver, okay? Who's a sleeper at wide receiver?
Okay, do you guys know who Marvin Mims is?
Of course, Marvin Mims. Okay, that's Marvin Mims, right? Hold on, I just got to type an email here. 1 second. Hold on, just sending an email. Don't mean to be doing it, but sure. But yes, of course, Marvin Mims played. Marvin Mims Jr. is his real name.
Junior,
okay?
bro.
You should say his
forget.
real name. 23 years old, out of Frisco, Texas. Played at Lone Star High School before going to the Oklahoma Sooners. Of course, everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows. So that maybe wouldn't be a great pick. I would say, is there a guy on the Eagles maybe who's like a 4th stringer?
It's just
There
tough
are
to say
no
that anyone,
sleepers on the Eagles,
sleeper
'cause
on the
they're so
Eagles
great.
doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work
bro.
that way.
So I see again showing your lack of knowledge there. Okay,
How about this? How about John Mechie III, who is new to the Eagles? So maybe some people don't know about him because he's just brand new to the team, but he's got the upside of being on the Eagles. How about
Interesting. Yes. Again, very familiar with John. Sorry, hold on. I just need to text someone through my computer. Hold on just a moment.
Yeah,
John,
you got to return the text.
Mechie. How do you spell that name again? Is there a double C? What is that?
Is it like the Froyo
I'm
Menchie?
just trying to think and send a text at the same time. It's complicated.
Yeah, Mechie. Metchi.
Oh, right.
Come on, bro.
Of course.
We called Howie.
Yeah, the Canadian-born player, although born in Taiwan, really, if you count that, born in 2000 in Taiwan, and then won the John Cornish Trophy, of course, twice, but was selected by the Texans in the 2nd round of the 22 NFL draft. Of course, John Mechie, yeah.
We called Howie. We said, you got to take this guy.
Yeah, again, just you need more depth of knowledge if you're going to do fantasy.
He doesn't know any sleepers, bro.
By the way, what's this whole? Can you just briefly tell us, because your friend Pete, they will get mad at us. What's this whole fantasy life thing you're working with?
Life,
what is
bro?
that?
So, we're just a site that provides content, data, tools, projections, everything for people who like to play fantasy sports. We've got some fantastic tools that people can use to sync their leagues. And also, we have guillotineleagues.com, which I think
Can I just ask you, are the tools like things people get, are tools people on your network? I just want to make, are those the hosts?
Some of them. Some of them.
Like we have a tool, our producers,
Yeah, because we have a tool on our network. He produces the show. There he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Keep going with your promotion.
Yeah, and then there's also guillotineleagues.com, which is a platform where people can play, I think, one of the coolest forms of redraft fantasy out there, where, instead of head-to-head, it's the situation where the loser, which I think you guys, Philly guys, would maybe like this idea, the loser each week
gets beheaded.
Gets kicked out of the league. So,
I was hoping for beheading too, Tony.
Yeah, because then we would also suggest our producer then, in that case, for the guillotine.
Yes, well, he gets chopped. The loser gets chopped. So if you guys want to take it literally, you could do that too, but that's really high stakes.
Okay.
Let's just move on here. All right. People, they put together a do not draft list, right? Who would be at the top of your do not draft list?
Yeah.
I mean, look, Saquon Barkley might be a little overvalued this year.
Excuse me?
What did you say? I think there's something wrong with my headphones. Can you repeat that?
That must have been the connection. Did you say Saquon Barkley's overvalued? Explain.
Yeah, well, he scored a lot of touchdowns last year, but it might be harder for him to score some of those touchdowns this year because a lot of them could go to other guys like Jalen Hurts getting all the touchdowns at the
guess what?
Well, guess what?
You know what?
You know who's
Guess
going to
what?
be going to other guys?
Yeah.
You. Because you're not welcome around these guys. Guess
Yeah.
what, Matthew Freedman? We're setting you free from the show.
Free from the
You're
show.
out of here.
You're off the show.
Get out of here. Don't you insult Saquon Barkley.
Never again off the
that
show.
Cowboys hat shows what kind of brain is inside.
Satellite Network.
Is he off the line?
Jay, hang up the phone.
You know, normally I'd blame our producer for such a terrible booking, but you too, Pete, from Fantasy Life. It's on you.
You want to talk fantasy? My fantasy is to never have him on the show again.
There you go. Good one, Tony.
Yeah,
and let's
thank
not
you.
let him ruin, which was otherwise just a terrific bang-up show
Yeah,
all
it
around.
was.
Of course, we
Perfect.
want you to visit our sponsors, Fresh Clean Threads.
Yeah.
And,
Wait,
oh, no.
Hold on.
Yeah.
All right, well, talk about a
Nightmare.
fantasy.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah,
nightmare. Producer.
Yeah. What?
What do you
Corrections.
want?
What?
Why?
Corrections.
Go.
You said the Eagles are going to beat the Cowboys by 135 points.
Yeah, book it.
Take it to the bank, bro.
Well, the latest Vegas odds show that the Eagles are about a 6-point favorite. So I think that's never going to happen.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'll show you 6 points on my knife set when I stab you.
Yeah, you know what's never gonna happen? You losing your virginity.
Oh!
Wait,
Great
wait,
one,
wait.
Tony.
Oh,
wait,
he's
what?
still
He's still talking. What?
What?
You said you don't know any Taylor Swift songs, and yet you were able to name like 8 of them.
Because someone told us about them, bro.
Yeah, but never listened to him, of course.
No.
No, I think you clearly have. In fact, I saw your Spotify search history, and it was all her songs.
Oh, well, you know what's never ever getting back together? Your body and spine after I dismember you.
Yeah, and when you pull down your pants, you know what you see? A blank space. Oh, you're done.
Great one,
He's soaking
Tony.
his
But,
shit.
here's a blank space that just got filled. Guest for next week, Tony, just came in. Super Bowl hero, Eagles legend Nick Foles will be here to talk about the Eagles' Week 1 victory because, yes, we will be coming to you after the game, after the
Yeah,
victory. Until then, don't
course.
forget you rate and review on Apple Podcasts, right? You like,
Yup.
you subscribe, and you
Yup.
visit our sponsor,
Do it all.
FreshCleanThreads.com.
Promo
Enter the promo
code
code Fusco15.
Fusco15.
And Tony,
Yup.
great job as always.
Same to you, Paulie. Another flawless show.
There you go. We'll see you people after the win.
See ya.